I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up? My name is Kari Lane, and welcome to the Sword Art Alicization War of Underworld After Show. As you can see, we have some special guests in the studio. First up, we have Greg Chun. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
And Xander Mobus.
Hello.
Yay! So we have, it's pretty much the Bad Boys episode. I was like, I didn't really think about that ahead of time, and then I was like,
When we walked in, you said, this is what I was expecting.
yeah, exactly.
So edgy.
Yeah.
Super edgy.
Although you do have barbed wire going on here.
I do. Yeah.
We're gonna.
They're designer
But
glasses.
anyway,
Okay?
see, Bad Boys keep it random and under
Yeah,
control. Yes.
yeah.
So we're talking episode 4, Dark Territory. We do have a live chat, so welcome if you're watching us live. If you're watching later, please comment down below. Have your questions ready because we will see them, and we would love to hear your thoughts on this episode and be able to ask questions of these awesome gentlemen. So first up, let's say. Explain who your character is in case they have no idea, and how similar or dissimilar you are to them. And I
Wow,
hope probably
okay.
dissimilar.
Yeah. Well, I
Great.
play Gabriel / Emperor Vecta, and I didn't realize how horrible I was until I watched last night because, we record our lines,
Yeah.
and Alex will say, okay, here's what's going on in the moment. Okay, that's pretty effed up or whatever. So you play the moment, but you watch the whole thing in context. I didn't see that whole flashback because I'm not playing young Gabriel, and I was just like, I am just horrible,
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so no, I'm not like that. In fact, Jen Losi, thank you so much for telling the world
Yeah.
that I'm actually a nice person, because that was, I needed that clarification before the hate came at me, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually really evil in real life. I don't know.
That's how you got the role, right?
sorry.
Yeah, pretty much typecasting.
Method acting.
Yeah. No, I went off on the casting director. I
Yeah.
threatened her, and she was like, okay, fine.
And Xander, what about you?
I play Vassago. I don't think I get a cool alternate name in the thing. I think I'm just Vassago the whole time.
I think
Oh, that's a cool
You're a
enough
Dark
name
Knight.
yeah.
Yeah. And he is. I don't know what I'm allowed to say because all the backstory stuff is later on.
Okay.
But
Ooh, okay.
he's-
Well, that's good to know for people to know.
He's kind of. The way I think of him is he's kind of like a Call of Duty bro who just takes it too far. Like that man lives on
Yeah.
Mountain Dew Code Red. And he's like, yeah, bro, no, it's gonna be awesome. We'll pound some brewskis and then go kill some folks. It's gonna be dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, your performance
yeah.
helps me too, because when I'm led in with your lines, I'm immediately struck with that energy. Like this guy needs to be reined in,
Oh.
and it helps. No, it's true. It's like it very much. It's whenever I have lines that Xander leads me in with, it is very much it puts me right in that energy that I need to be, based on our relationship.
So do you know if it was based on schedule that your lines were recorded first, or just?
I think it's
Probably.
just because I've definitely recorded to you as well.
Oh,
You
okay.
have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think it just depends on which one of us gets in there first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question then, if you're hearing it both those ways, when you go and you're seeing maybe the Japanese version, are you hearing the other person's voice instead?
Wait a minute.
Like in your
Like-
head, like you
like
you
I'm
get used to
picturing
what
what Greg's
yeah,
gonna
like
do?
you're thinking of him.
Oh,
Now that
okay.
you've heard what they are, when you're having your vice versa, because then you get to see them. Because once you get used to a voice of a person, like you're
Yeah.
like, yes, that's who it is. Do you hear that in your head or?
My
not
brain
necessarily?
doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't have
Okay.
enough brain power to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But I mean, that's why you have when you do record without if I go in first and I don't get to hear him, that's when you really need the Von David to be okay, this is what's going on. You really have to trust in that. But it's so much nicer when I get to hear him first because then it's just playing off the other person. You don't have to.
Sure.
I don't have to use my brain, and I like that.
We all like that.
Yeah.
Makes
You like it when
easier.
I don't use my brain?
I do.
Oh, okay. Thank
Bad,
you.
yeah, when bad things
Oh.
happen when you think.
Shout out to the chat. We got Sharka Frank saying hi, Greg and Xander. Renji, yes. Okay, a little bit of us. We'll bleep it out for y'all. So referring to Gabriel, I knew he was creepy, but after that flashback, I was like, Jesus, and then the F word for you.
Me too.
Yeah, right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
you're
gosh.
like, oh,
Yeah, I'm
what?
like, I need to really take
Yes.
stock of what I'm doing with
Oh.
my life.
And then also Sharka Frank. Shout out to Greg. He's an amazing, precious guy, and he gives his villains the determination that makes you sympathize with them. Honestly, Greg needs an award.
Oh, Sharka, thank you so
It's
much.
funny.
I
you should
don't
mention
sympathize with that character. I don't know what you're
Because guess
talking
we
about.
had?
An invisible award.
I ran into Brad Pitt earlier and I mugged him, so here you go.
Well, speaking of that, we get that flashback at the beginning of the episode. We get Gabriel's flashback of him as a child and like, okay, you killed bugs. But it brings up a really interesting point that's in Sword Art and also in a lot of Japanese anime is where does the soul reside? What did you think about that when you were approaching that? Like, was that something that made you ever think about like, oh, where is the soul in the body?
I mean, that's been a question that I wonder since, I mean, for all, since I can remember. I mean, the interesting thing about how they treated it here is that it's this idea, normally you think of like soul for the soul's benefit. What is the soul feeling? What is the soul doing? And I'm coming in from a mindset, when I snort the soul, how do I feel? And how wonderful is it, And it's so dehumanizing and so it's a really sinister kind of approach to it all. So I really did sort of look at the animation and this soul that you're supposed to be wondering about how's the soul doing. I just looked at it as basically a drug, and it was kind of, I feel terrible for doing that, but you do what you have to.
Yeah. And then what about you, Xander?
Oh, I found out about all this like last night when I watched the episode for the first time.
Oh, okay, nice.
Because we only see the bits we do.
Yeah.
So I had no idea any of that was going on. So when he just like chowed down on it, I was like, yo, what the hell, dude?
And now your performance is going to be altered going forward.
Yeah,
So
now I'm going to be
creeped up on me.
Hey, boss, about that benefits discussion we're talking about?
It's all right.
Well, then we'll get a more serious question. You as a person, where do you think the soul resides?
Oh,
have
deep
you ever thought of
thoughts.
that?
In the bowels.
Okay.
That's
No,
that's
I have no
0 to 60. Just why?
I don't know. I just say things. They just come out.
Well, because you could say, like, sometimes with more Western philosophy, it's the mind, and then Eastern philosophy, it could be more like the body, your chi, and your center, and whatnot. So,
I mean, I feel this sounds like a cop-out, but I've always felt that it very much is a combination of both.
oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's the cerebral approach to life, and then there's the visceral kind of, more from the heart kind of thing. And I think the two are very much at odds your whole life. And I feel like a soul is a very complex, rich sort of concept, and that it coming from here or there, I think is a gross simplification. I think it really does need to take both into account, because.
Yeah. Renji essentially agrees. I think it may actually lie in the head or the heart. So that's both. That would go with the.
Yes.
Because I mean,
High
sometimes
five,
you
Renji.
think with the head, and sometimes you think with the heart. So it makes sense to be with both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So poor Alicia, R.I.P. I wonder if there was a connection too when he learns of Alicia, and she's reading Alice in Wonderland. I was like, oh, does that lead into his more obsession?
I wonder.
You're like.
I have no idea.
Who can say?
I feel that'd be spoilers, or maybe we'll find out later, or...
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, maybe. All right.
Maybe.
What did you think of that moment? So Gabriel does see a vision of Alicia as he goes into the dive. Mm-hmm. Do you think it actually is her or his vision of her?
I mean, I kind of feel like it is his vision of her, because, for a character like that, I think in order to be who he is, he has to be tied up in his own psychosis and just sort of in his own mind. That's the only way you could be like that. You know what I mean? So I think I take a lot of that sort of abstract imagery as being something that he's experiencing and not necessarily reflective of what's happening in reality.
Sure.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
As
all
a
the
viewer,
smart stuff he said.
Okay.
That's going to be most of this, isn't it?
Well, that's why he's the leader, right? I guess,
I don't.
Henchman.
I don't think so good. So that's why it's good he's around.
Well, then we have your characters land in the world and essentially like getting a sense of the bodies. What did you think? How was those kind of recordings, performance? Did you have some sort of like you're in the skin, you're in the VR like approach to it or anything like that?
Yeah, I changed coats. I was like,
hey, you know what?
Let's really get this acting.
He's got this really cheesy smoking jacket that he put on for it.
That's cheesy. You think it's cheesy?
Everybody thinks it's cheesy.
Oh my God! Why did no one tell me?
No, his smoking jacket, his silk smoking jacket. He doesn't have one. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
We're
just kidding.
We're doing shtick. Sorry.
No, honestly, I feel like we've played enough video games ourselves that sort of putting yourself into that kind of avatar-y sort of thing is really not much of a stretch for either of us.
Yeah.
Oh, then this would be for both of you. I mean, I feel maybe not so much this episode for yourself, because you not as many lines yet. Natsu says, "Hi, Greg. Gabriel Vecta is so evil. What has been your favorite moment voicing Gabriel? while you were recording, did you novel?
I think read the novel.
Oh,
is what they're going for.
did you read it to get into character?
Oh.
And then also for Xander as well, because you're awesome.
You are awesome.
Oh, thanks. You're awesome.
Please go right ahead. I've been
Oh,
yapping.
am I saying it for? Oh boy.
What were your favorite? Yeah, your
favorite moment.
Well, if it hasn't happened
hasn't
yet, maybe
happened yet. So,
you can describe it vaguely enough.
Some shoot goes down.
Okay.
I caught myself. I didn't swear.
Yeah, boy,
I'm
that
so
would've been-
good.
That would have been a tragedy.
Some stuff.
Some stuff goes
Okay.
down with things, and I don't really know how to describe it without just giving it away. But it was very fun to record.
Okay.
And no, I did not read the novels because I don't know. I just didn't.
Yeah, who has the time?
Yeah,
honestly?
it didn't even occur
Yeah, it
to
would
me.
be wonderful to be able to research all these things to to the very end. But it's, I mean, the reality is we have schedules and lives.
that's why you
that
have a
we to-
director.
Yeah.
That's why we have a director.
That is why we have a director.
The Von D. Yeah.
And then what about you?
For me, I mean,
favorite
I-
moment,
for-
or maybe as of yet.
As of yet, yes. I mean, I really the part where he's talking about sort of the ecstasy of the soul and stuff like that. That's amusing to do. But I think for me, when it comes to villains, the sort of the cold, kind of like the cold, calm villain delivery when he's saying really horrible stuff, that's always fun for me to play. Because you have to walk this line where you don't go into mustache twisting land, right? Because then it becomes cheesy and just...
Sure.
Yeah. So it's in trying to, I think, capture that authenticity and really walk that line where you are horrible and you're communicating how horrible you are, but you're not becoming a caricature. You're not doing something so expected that people are removed from the story because they're thinking about some Looney Tunes like villain Boris and Natasha like blowing
Snidely
up things.
Whiplash.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the sort of like, you want to make it as real as possible, and I just really enjoy that as a challenge.
So playing evil villainous characters, do you have any sort of like wash it off when you leave to not have that stay with you?
Honestly, it depends on the thing. Sometimes they're really fun to do.
Okay.
Like, sometimes you do get those villains where it's just like, oh, this is just fun to do today. I'm going to have fun at work today. And then you get some that are a little bit more kind of, oh boy. And for those, I don't know.
Was that a Christmas Carol? Is that Ebenezer Scrooge? What was that?
This is like a grossed out sort of thing.
Okay. Sure.
But
Elmer Fudd is your next villain?
you know what? Let me let's do a take two. All right, let's do. Was that better?
That was
Okay,
really
thank
good.
you.
That was
Thank
less Elmer Fudd and more, well, I don't know. Good stuff.
So
Yeah.
when you finish record, do you have some sort of like to leave it behind, or like once you've left it?
I don't know. I don't think I really have like a process, but if something does stick with you, I think, go out with friends, hang out, grab a beer, go see a movie, just do something to kind of get yourself a little bit away from that. But the nice thing about, recording in a booth by yourself is that it's very easy to kind of separate work and, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense.
No,
No,
I
that totally makes
agree.
sense.
Yeah.
And what about you?
I mean, for me, I am a nice person, but I have a dark side. I think everybody has a bit of a dark side, and these moments of kind of evil intent and, I've had these thoughts about things that make me really angry and people that make me really angry, and it's, so I don't think I necessarily need to let it go. I think I just sort of, I observe what I'm experiencing and how that tapped into a certain, experience that I may have had or thoughts that I have about something or another, and it's just sort of an exercise in self-examination, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, then another kind of villains. Which one of the 10 factions or like the guilds, essentially, which one would you want to be part of or in charge of? Because we get to meet the 10. We have flatland goblins, mountain goblins, giants, orcs, pugless. Sorry if I'm saying any of this wrong. I just think pug and then I'm like dog. Yeah. The Assassin's Guild, Commerce Guild, the orcs, dark mages, and the dark knights. Because apparently if you add dark to the title, it makes it the bad villain.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was playing Skyrim, and it's like, we are the Dark Brotherhood. And it's like, why'd you call yourselves that, though? Like, I don't know. It just feels like whoever named it was being really edgy and like, ooh, we're going to show them. We're going to be really scary. So we're the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah. That person obviously didn't have much experience with the job of being an assassin.
I know. I guess it's good branding, but I don't know.
I would be the mage. I would be
Mages?
the mages
All right.
for sure. Just because I love magic.
Dark mages.
Dark mages, excuse me.
Dark mages.
Yeah.
But I love magic. Not magic. Magic
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
me mad because I don't know, not the chopping the woman in half, but like magic
Yeah,
spells
what they actually
and all
do.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And what about you?
I don't know. What were the pug
They looked
that?
like people, but they were kind of like a more earth tone, like like that lava red earth tone skin, and
Gotcha.
but they looked humanoid compared to some of the other ones. I don't know what their abilities are. We haven't really seen that yet. Like some of the
Yeah.
other ones are clearly like, even the Commerce Guild was represented by someone who looks human. And I like that they called the others in the the other world and Dark Territory, like those are humans. But I'm like, you guys look like humans. Because even
Yeah.
Lipia looks like a human. Some of the mages
Lipia.
do.
I'm so sorry.
R.I.P.
Abby.
that too.
Oh my god.
I think I'll go with the oh, you just said it. The Convenience Guild? No. what
Oh,
am I
yeah,
saying?
Commerce.
Commerce Guild. Because,
Yes.
yes, we're responsible for Fandango charging you an extra $10.
Elmer Fudd works there.
Okay, Renji says, before the ogres were named, I thought they'd be called beastmen. I guess. Well, I thought it was interesting they're called ogres, but they look like giant werewolves. That's not what I think of when I think of an ogre.
No, absolutely
No.
not.
So I thought that was an interesting word choice. I was like, okay, sure. Just saying.
I thought that said Beatsmen, like they were DJs or something.
Beatsmen.
That would have been
Like they were all
interesting.
beats boxing. the
Yeah,
entire time?
exactly.
Okay.
It's a whole nother kind of villain.
It's a
They come
different
at you with
show.
records, yeah. So pretty much, you come into this world, battle, destruction. Everybody seems to be cool with that, except for Vixur.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh. And it's funny because the last episode I knew, I'm like, oh, I know what's going to happen to him. So I really liked his character, but he was not long for this world.
So sad.
But yeah, we get, an interesting note. I didn't think we had seen it yet, but I like that you're able to contact the outside world and are able to be like, hey, by the way, but it has a weird, like
Yeah.
reverb something.
Yeah, I think it's that like we have to like because the world moves much quicker, we have to like step into like a time field.
That
to,
makes
like,
sense, yeah.
So that we become in sync with time in the outside.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Well, they'd have to do something drastic to sort of delineate, what's this world, what's that world. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those effects are cool.
I thought it was nice to note that I'm like, wait, they can still talk to the outside because obviously Kirito before wasn't able exactly to be like, hey, I need a little help here. So, and even when he gets fried, it was like, well, whoops, he had a little bit of a communique, but not enough.
And I love how I'm like commanding that people like slay and everybody die and stuff, and then I'm just like, yeah, this time distortion thing's a real bummer. Like,
Back to the office.
yeah, I'm kind of jet lagged, but whatever.
Yeah. Actually, we kind of touched about it, but a little bit more. Natsu said, I love last night's episode. It was awesome. What was your favorite scene? I love seeing Gabriel's Army. Who are your favorites from Gabriel's Army? We kind of talked about it a little bit, but any other favorites from the Army? Okay, so, well, before I kind of was like, which one do you want to be part of? But which one did you like within the episode that you're like, ooh, they were cool?
I don't know. They all seem pretty dope. I don't know.
Fair?
I honestly couldn't even get past the whole head in the ice thing, because that
was distracting.
That was, at that point I think I stopped processing information. But that was my favorite scene, just because it was so disgusting. I mean, like, it's one thing if you're commanding for people to, kill and pillage or whatever, like, but just it's such a horrible, awful, just
Did he cut the head off?
probably. I don't think he would
'Cause
command
he-
somebody to do it.
Broke the neck,
Yeah.
but is he...
Yeah, I think so. I think that's. I mean, if
The
he's
scene we didn't see,
Well, yeah.
details are
I mean,
important.
if he is jamming ice picks and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
sure.
Probably did, yeah.
Yeah, now I've got that in my head and I
Yeah.
can't get it out. Now it's-
Well, poor Lipia, she pretty much tries to assassinate you. Doesn't do very well. I thought it was an interesting, it was almost a little too easy of like, well, let me use my feminine wiles and this is totally going to work. I was like, girl, you need to maybe ease into that a little bit more and catch him a little bit more by surprise. I wish she had a little bit more of a chance, but it was done, over,
yeah,
no.
yeah, it would have been nice if I had gotten at least beaten down for a
something,
while, or she had gotten something on me, but it was
Which he probably would have liked that.
Yeah, I think
Let's
so.
be honest, that's something he's in.
not the best. Yeah.
But then I do agree that led to such a crazy cool scene later when he's talking to everybody in the gathering, I guess the Great Hall, and Vexor gets this crazy powerful moment that's like, whoa, wait, what does that mean exactly? Because it seemed to be above like a regular power level, though it did absolutely nothing. But it killed some of the other people. What did you all think of that moment as like a fan watching?
That was really dope.
I mean, I wonder because it makes me wonder actually about him later and stuff, because he's so, the scene before, I think it was right before, where he's basically like, hey, look, if you want the throne, like, bring it on, like, come at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just kind of an interesting, normally the big bad is saying like, how dare you know, betrayers and blah, blah, blah. But he's basically like, I get it. Treachery is all good. Like, give me your best shot. And that was pretty cool. So like these, you know, hugely powerful things he does make a lot of sense because he obviously doesn't even give a crap.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think he's just too powerful that he's like, it's not gonna happen.
Basically.
But I feel that could maybe be a downfall.
Could
My
be.
semi-predictions.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, he gets that moment, and then yes, we get the head, which throws the lever off, and I'm like, oh, I was like glad that he tried. But that moment in like the darkness, and he's like the weird naked with lights, which was kind of interesting too.
Yeah.
Which was the like in between space, because then that's a good question: is where do these artificial / real human souls go if you're created?
Well, that's something that's always confused me about this show,
Right.
honestly. Like, it's I've had trouble wrapping my head around those different states of being and who dies when they're in there and who doesn't and that kind of thing. So that's honestly something that I need to, you know, clarify for myself at some point.
Well, your characters have a discussion earlier in the episode where you're so excited to fight, and it's like, whoa, hold on, if you get cut, you're gonna feel it, it hurts, and it's like, nope, that just makes the stakes even better. But it doesn't mean you'll die.
Right.
So they've updated the game.
Yeah.
It's lame.
No, it's like Wolverine. It's like it hurts like a bitch, but
Yeah. But if you
Whatever.
die, you lose that character, and then you gotta start
Yes.
over grunt.
Yes, which, that makes things a little bit more complicated. Not so much for you. You seem to be doing all right.
Yeah.
But for me,
I don't know.
I'm out here just like,
Yeah.
I got a sword now. It's cool.
Is that made you think like that super bro mode when it's like that discussion where he's telling you like, okay, well you could get hurt, but it didn't seem to bother him.
Yeah, I think for him, that's like, you know, guys who mod games to make them like ridiculously hard, or like those absolute psychos who make those Super Mario Maker levels that are just completely impossible, and yet people just love that challenge. I think he's very much coming from there. He's like, oh yeah, all right, let's do this.
I want to mod the game so I can wear a panda suit.
You should do that.
Yeah.
You should.
Just like an Onimusha.
Have Gabriel come in and
Yeah. No, it'd be a great
Totally
scene.
different kind of
Yeah, I just want to see how
episode,
people
yes.
react. Whether they still take me seriously or not.
Okay, so a little bit, not to ask. Any intense moments so far voicing Gabriel and I think they wrote your name different. Vassago. Did you say Vassago?
I say Vassago.
Yeah, Vassago. In the
Do you
first
say
couple
Vassago?
of
I
episodes.
do.
You say Vassago. Oh, then I'm guessing
Yeah.
it's Vassago.
So any
But I like
interesting...
Vasage.
The Visage.
Were there any intense moments so far? I mean, this kind of feels like we're on the cusp of stuff happening. Though, when you
Yeah.
first break into the floating turtle, it's maybe a little tense of trying to figure things out. Do you remember any interesting moments prior when you were filming?
Oh, yeah, we were still kind of trying to figure him out because he kind of came out of nowhere, and we weren't sure where he was going.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that was all last season, so we kind of had to figure him out. Like once we saw, oh, okay, this is where it's going. Now we understand. Now we can plan for this. But yeah, that was kind of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit.
Okay.
Um,
Well, that's interesting.
yeah.
Of like, where do you take this character? Did you have any sort of, I think he should be this? Like, do you have moments like that where you get a mention that?
mean, yeah, Alex is very good about like hearing suggestions, and he definitely wants it to be a very collaborative kind of process, which I really
That's good.
appreciate. But for the most part, I think because we do have the original completed, in its entirety, you can't do anything too crazy. You can't be like, all right, he's gonna be an Edwin impression. Like, you can't. That's my creative choice.
Yeah.
That would be funny. For me, whenever in an anime somebody gets what I call the anime crazy face, that's always like a super intense. The eyes get a little bit askew, the teeth are like all nutty.
Well, it's on the bed after he
Yeah,
kills Lipia.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the hand.
Yeah, it's just this insane look, and it's it's not
So
the first
weird and
character I've.
creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. But the whenever there's a moment like that, that's pretty intense for me because then you really have to dig into your own insanity to kind of get that out properly, and that's always interesting. But yeah, those moments are not the easiest to play for me.
Sure.
Yeah, but
Xander, you kind of had mentioned it's already been out. Do either of you watch the whole thing ahead of time to know where your character goes, or do you like doing it episode by episode so that you're not like getting ahead of your character's mental state / awareness?
When I first started doing anime, I would do that. Like, I'd watch the show, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I've got all these great ideas going in. And because because of how the process works, we don't have rehearsal time. We don't have, we come in, we see the lines, we say the lines, we try and get it right, and then move on. So because of that, even if you have, like, if you come in with a lot of ideas, a lot of them end up just kind of being scrapped, which is what, you know, the rehearsal process is usually for, so you can make those mistakes and that kind of stuff. So because of that, I haven't really found that it makes that much of a difference. So at this point, I kind of just like to be surprised. And it also, you know, means I have more time to do other things, like auditions and jobs. So, yeah.
And I agree, because for me, if I watch too far ahead and I start developing my own preconceived notions as to where the emotion's going here and there, because there's a million ways to play a beat, and you know, what I don't want to do is go in there with something that I feel is set that's in my body and then have to undo it because it's twice the work, as opposed to going in there fresh, giving your first sort of gut instinct, and then Alex is the one who molds your performance to what his overall vision is. So I don't think it does you a whole lot of good, actually, to look ahead. I think it can be harmful.
No, that makes sense, because then you don't want to be stuck in what your idea is of the character. Because then also, when you're getting direction to change it, then you might inherently just be like, no, this is what I thought it is. I'm not going to change it.
I made him this way, and you must respect that.
I don't play this game yet, but Sharka asked Greg, if Gabriel was in the Fire Emblem Three Houses, who would he fight?
Oh, he'd fight everybody. He would just look around. Yeah, he would just, he would literally just walk around challenging everything that moved to a fight, so... Yeah.
I think Vassago would be the same too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think
they'd both be like, fight, ready?
Yeah. Him and I'm forgetting the name of the guy, but the golden deer guy who's like master, who's just like, I like fighting and eating. I think they'd like get along famously.
Yeah, they'd be like, or do we just become best friends?
It's like,
that kind of thing. Yeah, no, totally.
I've been waiting for you my whole life, bro.
So there's another little moment, and then I guess since it's not your character, so not, you would say as a fan, and then for yours, because it's you as a fan and as the voice actor. When we get that moment with Vixur and he's talking about Gabriel, like how to fight him, he comments on how he has no soul and he's alive, his soul's alive and dead, and then fighting him was not going to be the typical way. What did you think of that kind of essentially epiphany of for that character towards your own, and then as a viewer, like, oh my gosh, wait, he can't be fought on a regular fisticuff fight.
Well, I mean, I really like it because it's just a richer narrative. You know, we've seen plenty of, we poke this one weakness or drop the thing in the Death Star, you know what I mean? And like, this is just sort of, it's a conundrum. It's sort of like, well, first we need to understand this thing before we can even begin to formulate a plan to combat him, you know what I mean? So I just feel like it's a richer experience, and it allows for more kind of just sort of for people to come up with their own theories and to see, you know, what that is. And it builds up that tension so that you're, you know, I think the payoff's going to be better when, obviously, I have to get beaten at some point, you know, and it's like, I hope.
We hope so.
You're gonna
if not, it sends the wrong message.
Doing a whole spin-off.
Yeah, when I'm like a regular guy.
Yeah.
It's like you hosting a game show or something.
It's an alternate universe where he didn't kill his friend.
That's
you
right.
know?
Yeah, and I just work at an
But
adventure shop.
he also says he's killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, he's
killed a lot of people.
He's a busy boy.
Yeah.
But the point is that I feel like the payoff when I am ultimately defeated is going to be that much more satisfying because it wasn't so obvious how it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to have one of those moments where, like, you, like, somehow get a soul at the end? Like, someone hacks you a soul, and you're like, oh, my God, what have I done?
That would be pretty cool. I would never leave my house at that point, then. If I could just sort of, like, dial them up.
Yeah. No, I feel like he would have something, like, maybe for moments and just be like, oh, and then, like, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, this wasn't so great. Let's just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Or I'd try to suck my own face off, or, you know, just somehow inhale my own soul. I don't know.
That'd be quite a feat.
That
would
love
be
to see
quite
That'd be some interesting animation techniques.
I noticed a few people commenting online that they thought now with these other characters in the Dark Territory, it makes it so much more interesting. What do you think about that as a fan and then as a voice actor of villains now in the Dark Territory?
Well, whenever you've got like multiple factions, and especially ones that you've not seen before, and ones that have different sort of motivations and all that kind of, that's all just it's all creates a lot of intrigue. Because I mean, it's essentially kind of analogous to politics. You have people who have different wants and different needs. Everybody's got to share the same space, and how the hell does that play out? So I think it really adds a lot of color to it, and you can sort of see how. It's like that whole thing, how this person would fight that person. When you've got fighting games and you see how certain moves work against other people, it's a similar thing, just with larger groups.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes. I think it's gonna keep you busy because it seems like they're all just kind of like they're doing their schemes, and you're like, all right, let's deal with this. So I think it'll be a fun dynamic moving forward.
Well, we get Alice at the end. She gets to the gate, and it has the destroyed at last stage, and she has the "we are out of time." Do you sit there, then you're just like, now it is almost curling the mustache.
A little bit. It was a pretty cool moment for me. Yeah,
You're just like, well, you have no idea, little girl.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. And it was just such a great visual, too.
Okay,
I really
nice.
appreciated that. It was, I kind of gave me chills. It was really cool.
We're pretty much towards the end. Any other quick thoughts on your character, your voice acting experience on this show, or advice as a voice actor in general? I know that's
You're looking
a lot,
at me.
but, you know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. Show up on time. Read your scripts if you get them ahead of time. I don't know. Don't fart too many times in the booth because people get mad.
wow, that's...
Don't act like that's not the most important thing.
No, I'm just mad that you took what I was going to say.
Sorry.
I mean, for me, I've wanted to be part of this franchise for so long. And, not even necessarily that I've been super familiar and had a chance to watch a lot of it, but what I've seen of it, it's always been very, very, I've really, really enjoyed it. And so I'm just super happy to be here. As far as aspiring voice actors and stuff like that, it really is improv classes, acting classes, start there. And you'll know when it's time to kind of start honing your skill set towards voiceover in particular, because you won't feel like, what am I doing so much anymore? And once you've got rid of that feeling, then you're ready to start making some moves.
Nice. I feel that's very solid advice. Thank you, and I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you, everybody who watched in the chat. Make sure to click that like button and subscribe so you'll know when we'll have more episodes. We're doing them weekly. We got more guests for the whole rest of the season. Make sure to follow the official Sword Art Online Twitter page as well via Aniplex. And where can people find you online as well and follow up to date on what you're up to?
I'm on Twitter at Xander Mobus VO.
I'm Greg_Chun because somebody else took Greg Chun, which makes me so
How
mad.
dare
But
they?
yeah, I know. But yeah, ___.
It's not the minus sign, it's
Not
the
the
other
one,
one.
it's the one on the bottom. Yeah.
And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. Someone already took Kari Lane, so I had to put my
See?
middle initial.
There you go.
Well, again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
joining
having us, Kari.
Yay,
Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.